making the American dream of home ownership available to all people is something we have to do for people who are here now.
This is before you're a citizen. This is undocumented. This is for the undocumented.
Well, what I would like to do is move them to documented. The fact that we can move them to documented.
Patrick Bet-David continues his rampage, this time against Bill Maher and Nancy Pelosi, who recently went on Real Time with Bill Maher and said some absolutely insane things, like just absolutely nutty things to Bill Maher, who then just agrees with her, just nods his head and moves along. And even the audience is kind of applauding and laughing. And you could tell that they enjoy the things that Nancy Pelosi and Bill Maher are saying here. And Patrick Bet-David's pointing out the fact that these things are nuts. These things are insane. We see this tweet here from Patrick Bet-David himself saying Nancy Pelosi is shameless about giving amnesty to 20 million illegal immigrants. I'm curious if Newsom is still your guy, Bill Maher. Let's get into this clip here from Real Time with Bill Maher of Nancy Pelosi saying these insane things and Bill Maher agreeing, and Patrick Bet-David, basically just destroying them here with this tweet.
The California lawmakers just passed a law. It hasn't been signed by Governor Newsom, but giving government assistance to undocumented immigrants to buy houses. That's kind of a different place than the Democratic Party used to be on immigration, is it not? I'm not going to say that's what the country's going to do, but that's certainly where California is.
Well, let me just say, immigration had always been a bipartisan issue. I refer you to
But not free houses.
Well, that's not free housing. It's the American dream being available to more people. But understand this about immigration.
The American dream does not need to be available to illegal immigrants. In fact, it should be unavailable completely, as they are illegal immigrants. That's like saying the American dream should be possible for everyone. Therefore, we're going to give murderers who are in jail for life the ability to purchase housing outside of the jail. It's like, that's really, really, really stupid. Really stupid. Like, and I don't understand how they can't see it. I know that she's just playing dumb, but I don't understand how the Democrats can't see that. The Democratic voters can't see that she's just playing dumb, and all of them are. And also, the Democrat voters just believe the Democrat politicians believe the Democrat voters to be stupid, and they prove over and over again they are just that stupid.
The best speech on immigration was by President Ronald Reagan. This is the last speech I will make as President of the United States. I want to communicate a message to the country I love. And he talked about the Statue of Liberty and the beacon of hope it is to the world, and what America was preeminent in the world because our door was always open, and we will cease to be preeminent.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
When we shut the door. Now, I don't do justice to the great communicator. Google it. It's a fabulous speech. And George Herbert Walker Bush continued in that respect for the diversity of America and the rest. California's always in the lead. Maybe others will follow that lead, but that's up to those states.
In the lead? In the lead for what? California is going completely downhill. Like, completely. And in multiple places, not just Los Angeles, but San Francisco and so many other places, to the point where they have to raise the threshold for what is a crime, what is shoplifting, what is, just raising the threshold for all these different crimes and telling cops to not arrest people who are doing certain things that used to be a crime, used to be arrestable, used to be, felonies, whatever. They're having to raise the threshold so that they can campaign on the fact that crime is down. No, you're just... Prosecuting crime less does not mean crime is down. That just means that you're moving the goalpost for what a crime is so you can campaign on the fact that crime is down.
But we are very blessed here with beautiful diversity.
So you'd vote for this law?
Excuse me?
So you'd vote for this law?
Well, I'm not familiar with exactly what it is, but making the American dream of home ownership available to all people is something we have to do for people who are here now.
This is before you're a citizen. This is undocumented. This is for the undocumented.
Well, what I would like to do is move them to documented. The fact that we can move them to documented. And one of the best things that we can do for our economy is to pass comprehensive immigration reform.
Yeah, I mean, so basically exactly what Patrick Bet David said there. Nancy Pelosi is shameless about giving amnesty to 20 million illegal immigrants. So Bill Maher is kind of pushing back a little on the insane things that she just said. And we have another clip to show you here in a second as well of more insanity coming from this Nancy Pelosi appearance on Real Time with Bill Maher. Bill Maher is pushing back on Nancy Pelosi saying, but they're undocumented, right? Like you're for giving housing and letting undocumented immigrants, illegal immigrants, undocumented, purchase housing. And she's like, well, I'm going to avoid the question and just say, I think we should basically give amnesty to 20 million illegal immigrants. We should just document them instead of trying to remove them. And I mean, this is exactly, I mean, she's basically saying the quiet part out loud, as the left loves to say, where, you know, we've been saying this isn't incompetence. This is all planned. You know, the fact that Kamala Harris is the borders are, and yet the border is as open as it's ever been. And all these immigrants are just pouring into the country. Their plan all along was just to document them and give them amnesty and turn them into Democratic voters. That was their plan the entire time. So she's just saying the quiet part out loud. Like I said, we also have another clip here from the same Real Time with Bill Maher episode with Nancy Pelosi. That is just more insanity. Let's get into this clip here of Bill Maher and Nancy Pelosi talking on Real Time with Bill Maher. But Patrick Bet David in that last clip was absolutely spot on.
On January 6th, there was a lot of where's Nancy, and people are now going to jail for it. It was on that level. And I just would like to say to the people who I hear it all the time, who talk about, oh, we're moving toward civil war. Well, in a way, we're kind of already there. You know, when people are literally fearing physically for themselves, do you still fear?
Notice how we're still talking about J6. And Bill Maher is using that as an example of the Civil War. We're not in a civil war. It's not happening yet. It's close for sure, but it's not there. Like, we're not in a civil war. But notice how Bill Maher uses J6 as the example of we are in a civil war. People are scared for their life for having certain opinions. When Donald Trump literally just recently got shot in the head, in his ear, at a rally for having certain opinions. But yet we're still using the J6 example and not giving the example of when a Republican gets shot at a rally. Notice that. Like, it's just mind-blowing, the derangement syndrome these people have.
Physically?
Well, let me just say...
also, look at this cringe-ass pin that Nancy Pelosi has on right here. It's an American flag and a Ukraine flag back to back. It's just so tiresome at this point.
Signed up for this. And as
for that part of it?
Well, I signed up for the public arena. Note that I'm quoting a Republican president. Teddy Roosevelt said, when you're in the arena, you're no longer a spectator. And I've said to colleagues and people interested in running, when you are in that arena, you got to be ready to take a punch. You got to be ready to throw a punch for the children. For the children.
I would.
I wasn't fearful that day for me because as Speaker, your second in line to the White House, you have security. I was concerned about my colleagues. I was concerned about the press who were there. I was concerned about the custodians who keep the Capitol.
Oh, you mean the security that literally let the people inside, showed them around as if they were on a tour, checking if certain doors were unlocked so they could let them in to see even more parts of the Capitol. Oh, that security? That's the one you're talking about?
You know what? We have to take our country back to where a place is you can disagree without being fearful for your life. And that of your family. And that of your family. Many times when I'm encouraging people to run, especially more women, to run for office, nothing more wholesome than our political process than that.
I'm not entirely sure what they were insinuating there at the end. Let me know in the comments if you guys know. I'm not sure, but yeah, I could pick apart every single little thing that she's saying, but I don't want to do that. I know you guys get mad at me for pausing and stuff like that, so we're not gonna. Every single time she says a word, it boils my blood, and I could just pick it apart and say how hypocritical it is. But I know you guys get mad for pausing. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think about what Patrick Bet David had to say here in this tweet. Just spot on, just breaking down what Nancy Pelosi is saying here in a roundabout way, just in one sentence. Patrick Bet David picks it apart. And even Bill Maher was a little bit shocked there. Even Bill Maher was a little bit shocked at what Nancy Pelosi was saying, because it is insane. It's straight up insane. Let me know in the comments what you thought about Nancy Pelosi's appearance on Real Time with Bill Maher and Patrick Bet David's response to the appearance and the insane things that she was saying.